class, we study something about the generative grammar. Okay? Our subject is generative syntax, but until you come there, it's important to understand these concepts. I have perceived that you had a very good background, that you studied this discipline in Portuguese version with another professors. So you got all the concepts like universal grammar, critical period, all the Chomsky theory. Okay, so you are very comfortable about this. At least I felt that. Okay, so we are going to follow. But before we keep studying our book, Syntax, I brought you some curiosities about English. Okay? Actually, when we start studying English, we usually in Brazil, we prefer to study the American English. Okay? I don't know, what kind of English do you prefer? American, British, or another version? Which one? Or there's no problem for you, okay? It's all English, okay? And for you, do you prefer? Oh, I prefer American pronunciation or British. British? Yes, the majority of people says, I study American, I like American, but I think that British English is charming. Yes, very charming. Open the door. Give me a cup of water. It's a bit different. So, like in Brazil, in Portugal, we have different dialects. A dialect is variations in the same language. Okay? For example, if you say, do you know any words in Portuguese from Brazil and from Portugal that are different? Do you know an example? I know, let me see. Okay, a very strange example. In Brazil, we call, in Portugal, rapariga, it's like a girl, a normal girl, okay? But in Brazil, it's very different. It's like a bitch. Yes, it's a bitch. Okay? So, this is a dialect. The same word acting in different ways, in different pragmatic contexts, okay? So, let's see some curiosities about English. These differences happen in English too, okay? Let's see, at least British and American, because we have a lot of versions of Australian, South Africa English, Canadian English, what else? Indian English, a lot of types of English, okay? So I brought some curiosities between American and British. Like I made a confusion, okay? Here is British, but British is better, okay? But you know. So British people says the. I don't know how to pronounce. I prefer American, okay? Theater, center, color, okay? So you perceive that the R comes before the vowel. Here is different. The R is at the end. Theater, center, color. So this is English and this is English, but two different versions of English. Okay, it's very curious. For example, that is a joke how Americans speak and how English speak. People say that American is very, how can I say, practiced in relation to the use of language. So American says very fast something, using 1, 2, or 3 words, usually slangs, like gírias. Americans prefer to use slangs. British are very formal people, so they prefer to speak very, how can I say, explain word by word, okay, in a complete way. So, we have a person here in Dangerous, and this person asks some help. Help me, okay? This is the American way to say something. And this is the American way to ask some help. The man is passing with his dog, and the person says, the British, excuse me, sir, I am terrified sorry to bother you, to interrupt you, but I wonder if you would mind help me? Então, acaba morrendo, né? E está dizendo aquilo ali, me desculpe, senhor, eu estou muito chateado de interromper o senhor, mas se o senhor pudesse me ajudar, né, eu agradeceria. Então, o americano leva logo o grito, hey, me ajuda aí. Né? Okay, something like that. It's a joke. We have some differences in relation to syntax too. Okay? For example, the use of the verb have in America is one structure, and in British it's another one. When I was in my graduation here at Cooper, I have learned the American version. So I learned to conjugate the verb have using the auxiliaries do and does. Do you have? Does he have? Okay? And so on. But when I had the first contact with the British English, we didn't have do and does for the conjugation of the verb to have. They use as auxiliary the main verb, the verb actually. Have you got? So have you got is the same thing of do you have, okay? But they use in different ways. So if you go to British, to Scotland, Wales, Ireland, or even England, and you have to ask something using the verb have, you don't say, do you have a problem? Do you have a car? Do you have a bike? No. You have to say, have you got a problem? Have you got a car? Have you got a house? Okay? So it's strange, yeah? But it's different. So you choose the way you want to speak, okay? The way you prefer to speak. But it's important to know at least both, because American English is not the best English, and British English is not the best too. We have to consider only as two different possibilities, okay? But both are important. Okay, here we have this picture. We call this in American like avalanche, okay? Let me put the words, avalanche. And British, don't say avalanche. Avalanche is more common for us Brazil. It's similar to Portuguese, but British says snow slip. Slip is like, okay, you slip in something. So snow is like ice. So snow slip, okay. This is a dollar or a dollar bill. Bill is like cédula, papel, okay. But British prefer to call like notes. Like in Brazil, I have a note of £1. It's impossible because we don't have any more. We have coins, yes? So, dollar, American says, calls bill or bills, and pounds, we call libras esterlinas, yes? United Kingdom, don't make any confusion because wasn't euro? No, because United Kingdom really didn't accept to adopt the euro. Okay, so it's a note, bill and note. What's this? Do you know what's this in English? Do you know this word? English? Don't you remember? Some people call blender. Blender is the verb like make a mixture. Mix. Okay? We have blender or mix. Mix, but the original term is blender for America. Blender. Okay? But British people call it like liquidizer. In the majority of the time, British language is more near of Portuguese. American is a bit far, but sometimes we call very similar words in American too. Okay? What's that? You have to know. What's that in English? Coca-Cola. No, right? The object. Coke. But the Coke is into the object. How can we call this object? Forget the name Coke. Yeah, it's Coke, but the object, the metal object. Don't you know? Okay, it's like a can. But can is the verb. Yes. I can do it, I can run, I can write. Yes, but we have another possibility like a noun. Substantive. Okay? Can is like lata in English. Yes. Is the verb can or is the noun lata? Okay, so I have a can of Coke, for example. But British call in a different way. They call tin. I have a tin of Coke. Please give me a tin of Coke if you are in a party or in a restaurant in British. But if you are in America, you say, oh, please give me a can of Coke, okay? Policial, do you know? Do you have an idea? Officer? Yes, true. It's another version. It's similar to cab. It's cop. Yeah. É que confundiu você, tem certeza? Cop. Yes. American prefers to say cop, né? But British prefers to say Bobby. I don't know the story of this term, but if we make a search, we are going to find Bobby. I don't know why Bobby. I don't know the reason, but it's different. Bobby and cop. So they are policemen in general. Okay. And that, what's that? Do you like it? Good. I like to. It's very simple. How can we call that cereals in Brazil? Corn, yes. American says corn, but British says maize. It's similar to maizena. Probably the name maizena comes from maize, because it's a product of that comes from corn. Okay? Corn and maize is the same, are the same. And this, what's that? Ice. Very good. Ice. Or ice cream. It's the same, okay? The brief form and the complete form. But British don't say ice. It's not so common for British. It's block of ice. They are very charming. Block of ice. Pedra de gelo. E o americano diz cubo de gelo, né? We have a line here. Okay? If you go to the bank, if you have to pay some tax or some accounts, you have to enfrentar a line. In Brazil, usually longer lines, yes. Okay? If you are at work and you have to go to sell something at Delhi, you have to face a big line. Okay? But British calls this line in a very strange way, at least for me. It's like Q. Okay? In British they have Q, not line. Synonyms. Okay? Q or line for American. Q. Okay, so we finished with curiosities about English, American English. All the classes I'm going to bring some new curiosities for you. Okay, it's important to know. Okay, let's keep studying our syntax content. Okay, some basic properties of English syntax. Some remarks of the essence of human language. Okay, let's start with some speech from Saussure. For Saussure, in the book, he says, there is no motivated relationship between sounds and meanings. There is no motivated relationship between sounds and meaning. So let's understand what exactly is that. Okay. So, for example, for Saussure, if you have this object, okay, a house in English, a casa in Portuguese, or a maison in French. Okay, so you perceive that in these three different languages, the sound is different, but the meaning is the same. Okay, so that is the relation it says. Okay, so the sound and the meaning, there is no motivated relationship between them. Okay, like those words, we have hot dog, desk, dog, bike or bicycle, hamburger, and cranberry. It's a kind of a very small fruit, okay? And sweet bread, I forgot the picture, it's like pão de forma, que eles compram fatiado, tem, né? They call sweet bread or pão doce, okay? In general. So we perceive that these words are different. Their meanings and their shapes, therefore, okay? So they are different. So we are talking about that. So see definition. But let's study only the term hot dog. Okay? Hot dog is very common for you, okay? Including Brazil. Our hot dog is a bit different. America use only a bread and a sausage. It's a mustard. They don't like to use in pizza and hot dog mayonnaise and ketchup. It's not so common. They prefer mustard. Okay, but this is not the question. The question is, this word represents this object or this kind of thing. But depending on the context, the word suffers modifications in its meaning. Okay, let's understand. For example, we can say that this is a hot dog too. Do you agree? It's not the same thing, the same situation, but this term can define a hot dog as a food and a hot dog as a dog in an oven. It is hot because of the fire. Okay, using it in the oven. So the same word, the same structure, the same sound, but different meanings depending on the pragmatic context. But we have another strong situation, like here. This is a dog, okay? Here, this example is different, okay? I have to draw it to you. It's interesting to see your faces, your disgusted face, yeah. Why? Because in Brazil, it's not so common to cook or to toast, to kill dogs as a food. But in China, it's very common. As we eat pork, as we eat cow, as we eat chicken, they eat dog. They create dog to eat. Okay, it's very common to them. It's a cultural question. Okay, so can you perceive that how strong the culture is? Okay, it's an animal like a pork or another one, but for us it's very disgusting. Okay, yeah, because of our cultural question. And this situation, a hot dog, a very sex dog, okay? If você dá qualquer vacilo, ele traça, né? Okay, so we have here different situations where we can use just one term, hot dog. So it's very interesting. We are talking about syntax, but the semantics comes together. Okay, it's impossible to isolate it. Okay, well, okay. So there is a definition from the book. There is just an arbitrary relationship between the word sound and its meaning. This relationship is decided by the convention of the community of the speakers belong to. Okay, so the single relationship that we can find between meaning and sounds is the convention of people do. Okay, it's our use of the language. Okay, so language works because we need of it. Language words and meanings exist to guarantee that we have how to communicate between us, okay? Speakers of a group of language. So, returning to chunks, okay, we are going to use chunks all the time. Language means infinite use of finite set of rules or principles, the observation of which led the past of lead, it's like guide, okay? Rules or principles, the observation of which led the development of generative linguistics in the 20th century. Okay, here is that term, that definition we have studied about the creativity principle. We received a very poor stimulus, okay, in the singular. And using that poor stimulus, we can create new sentences or new terms in our language. So I have a challenge for you, desafio. How many combinations you are able to do with the words below? Todos comigo. Tecnologia total, né? Okay. Okay, so we have here 5 words, isolated words. How many combinations do you think that is possible? Or how many combinations you can do? Now, try to make some sentences using these words. 2 minutes to see how many possibilities you can get. Try.
Kick the ball.
The man kicked the ball. 1. Okay. What else? It's simple, yeah. The man kicked the ball. Try another. The ball kicked the man. But you have to use all the words. The 5 words, okay? He said, the man kicked the ball. No, the man kicked the ball. The man kicked a ball, because we can't repeat the same. We can use only one time. So you can use the man kicked. So we have these words alone. So the man kicked a ball. Could be. A gente não pode repetir a mesma palavra 2 vezes, né? Você dito a man kicked the ball. Ok, it's good. Eu fiz a confusão. My bad. I'm sorry. A man kicked the ball. So you have the man kicked a ball too. Okay, it's another version. Let me show you some possibilities. The book, the formulas. Okay, it is possible to create 120 combinations, but only 6 are correct. The other ones, the rest of them are incorrect. Okay, semantically incorrect, okay? Or syntactically incorrect, as we have studied. Okay. In previous classes. Let's see. 1. The man kicked a ball. A man kicked the ball. What's your name? Sorry? Lucas. Okay, Lucas said this example. The ball kicked a man. Okay, a teacher, but here the semantics is strange. Yes, semantically it's not so good, but in relation to syntax, that it's what we are studying now, the focus, it's okay, ok? Porque uma bola não chuta uma pessoa, né, na verdade, na vida real. Mas, sintaticamente, o exemplo está ok, gramaticalmente ele está perfeito, só que a relação sentida aqui é problemática, ok? D. A ball kicked the man, okay, here, only the position of the determiners. And the last one, the ball a man kicked. I'll have another. Or the man, a ball, kicked. Except those or these examples, the other ones are incorrect. Okay? Let's see. Kicked the man the ball. Chutou o homem a bola. In Portuguese, this sentence is common. I think so. We can use. Chutou o homem a bola. In Portuguese, you can say, you can communicate your thoughts. But in English, it's not correct, okay? Man, the ball kicked there. It's very strange, okay? Very strange. C. The man, a ball kicked. In Portuguese, I think it's possible. A homem, a bola chutou. Okay? It's strange, but it's possible. But in English, no. Okay? This sign represents that the sentence is wrong, incorrect, okay? When you see an asterisk in the beginning of the sentence, it represents that the sentence is bad. Okay, so there are certain rules in English for combining words. So, as we have discussed, syntax is responsible to understand how the words behave, se comportam into the language. Okay, so studying not the traditional grammar. No, it's not. Our focus is not in the traditional grammar. No, but we are trying to make some observations of the language and try to perceive what are the rules that lead or that guide our language naturally. Okay. Let's see some examples. 3. Cam lives in the house. Lee sold to her. Okay? So Kim vive numa casa que a Lee vendeu para ela. Okay? B. Cam lives in the house. Lee sold it to her. Okay? So it's different. So this is correct and this is not correct. Can you create any theory or any explication only by observation why this sentence is correct and why this sentence is not correct, using your intuition? Sem medo de errar, só tentando. Can you explain me why? Teacher, I think, in my opinion, it's because of this or because of that. Do you have any idea? Or any intuition?
Eu acredito que assim,
Ok, não, it's a discussion.
Porque ali já usou, já falou da casa, né? Da house. Então não tinha necessidade de falar que não teria necessidade de colocar aquele solito, porque está se referindo também à casa.
Yeah.
Então eu acredito
With, it's like it's referring to the house, yes. Sold it or sold the house, the same, yeah? Yeah, it's something like that. Okay, you can use the object pronoun it or let me see. Kim lives in the house. Is sold to her. Yes, you can use this term. Kim lives in the house. We sold it, or Kim lives in the house. We sold to her without an it. Okay, because